Hey everyone, this is Louis7, and today I have some news for The Lord of the Rings Online on update 31.0.2, which is a relatively minor update overall, but does have a few important things coming. The maintenance for the patch will actually probably be finishing up or up soon after this video is uploaded to YouTube. So the very first thing to cover today is actually for people who purchased the Ultimate Fan Edition of the Fate of Gundabad expansion pack. So for those unfamiliar, there was this issue where if people bought the collector's edition and then later upgraded to the Ultimate Fan Bundle, they would essentially get all the bonus supplies twice, including things like the Valor and the toolkits and the such. And this, of course, was pretty bad from people's perspective who bought the Ultimate Fan Edition directly and did not choose to go the collector's edition and then later upgrade to get twice the amount of stuff. So one thing I am very glad that Standing Stone Games is doing is they are correcting this issue by giving people who bought the Ultimate Fan Bundle twice the stuff, essentially. So if you bought the Ultimate Fan Bundle and did not go through this upgrade path, you'll be getting an additional level 130 Valor, an additional Gundabad delving supplies, which does include the toolkits I mentioned, and you will also get another set of improved expedition supplies. And importantly, just like previously, you will get these items on the very first character you log into after the release of update 31.0.2. I also will point out it was confirmed that you will not be able to get this stuff on legendary servers, so you will have to log into a regular server to get these items. Now that that is out of the way, the rest of the patch notes are more so on bug fixes and some minor changes as well as some PvMP balance work that is being done. Now, I will point out on the note of PvMP that I had a recent video sharing information from a Standing Stone Games developer that they intend to, in the future, prevent you from using PvMP gear outside of the Etten Wars. But it looks like that will not be coming in this update and is still intended for December, potentially. And if you're unfamiliar with what is going on there, I recommend checking out that video. I'll link it in the description. But to get into some of the changes for PvMP, first of all, the Osgiliath PvMP zone is being disabled. I honestly don't know anybody that goes there anyway, but yes, that will no longer be a PvMP zone and sounds like it might come back for special events or for a short duration in the future. Next up, a lot of the resource nodes, or all the resource nodes rather, have been updated to the cap level and give Gundabad stuff in the Etten Wars. Next up, there are some balance changes for creeps, and heals have been nerfed by 25% actually, and also Defiler heals over time have also been nerfed a little bit. And the last change we have for PvMP is just an amount of outgoing healing has been added to the Audacity stat, which sounds good to healers for me. Rather, sounds good for healers to me. Next up, we can get to crafting, which starts with the Gundabad Crafted Brawler Belt. Those belt buckles now have their correct stats, because I guess they didn't before. I'm not too familiar with that. Also, the jeweler recipe for the Brawler Belt buckles, you can find them in the LOTRO store now. And the last change for crafting is going to be the Gundabad Crafted Light Leg, Hand, and Foot Armor has been updated. It says to help differentiate them from medium armor. I don't know if this means visually updated or if there's some issue with the stats that would somehow make them look like medium armor and not be different. Because I don't think it was the latter, I'm guessing they were visually changed, so not too sure what's going on there, but that is what the patch notes say. And one really quick note on the Gundabad Allegiance is the Allegiance items, the tooltips now accurately reflect the amount of Allegiance points you actually get from the items. There was this issue where some of the relics would say they gave 2,000 Allegiance points when they actually gave 1,000. So it was not an issue of how many Allegiance points you got, it was just erroneously displaying in the item tooltip that you got 2,000 when that was supposed to say 1,000 the entire time. Next up, I want to cover the Gundabad Instances, which are the 2 3-mans, and yes, we will have 2 3-mans again, because I forgot to mention one of the actually big things of this patch is the Den of Pughlak is reopening, and I plan to cover a Den of Pughlak starter guide like I did for the Assault on Durstrach, so if you have not seen what that guide is like and maybe have any feedback for when I do actually cover Den of Pughlak pretty soon, please do check that out and let me know any thoughts you have on it. Moving on for the Assault on Durstrach, there is a quest to complete the Assault on Durstrach. If you do that quest, well, you actually can't do it because it never advances when you complete the actual instance. So now that quest will be able to be completed and you can turn it in. There have also been a couple balance changes for this instance. So Mozrock and Shikmuz's, that is going to be the Bat Rider and the boss on the right side of the instance. That one, they have both had their health decreased, and there was this bond effect, which I'm not too familiar with, that says it now works on Shikmuz in tier 3 of the instance. Maybe at some point in the future I can eventually get up to tier 3, but first I still have to get to level 140 actually. Next up for the balance changes for this instance, they only apply to the solo version because they go to Muta, which is going to be the dwarf you can summon to assist you if you're running the solo version. And both of their buffs are now stronger, so Tenacity of the Dwarves, rather that single buff is stronger. For some reason that's just put twice in the patch notes. But yes, that buff that the dwarf gives you is now stronger, Tenacity of the Dwarves. Finally, we do have a couple more bug fixes. I believe I actually ran into this in the Deepscrave instance, The Truth of the Matter. I think I remember seeing some NPC dialogue that was not displayed in the chat box, and now that should be fixed. But also for the Cloven Gap, which I just went through these quests before the patch, but a couple quests have been fixed where you don't have to keep relogging or keep abandoning and picking them back up like I had to do. The Overgrown Vineyard and Cloven Gap Mistwalkers, both of those should now advance properly when running them. Now, I will point out the patch notes only specify if you are in a fellowship. As far as that issue being fixed, because there were some issues if you were in a fellowship and not getting progress on the quest, but there are also a bunch of other issues. I never ran these in a fellowship and ran into lots of issues again. Relogging and abandoning and picking up the quests again eventually solved the issues with both of these. Again, the Overgrown Vineyard and Cloven Gap Mistwalkers. So hopefully other things about these have been fixed and just aren't put in the patch notes, but I guess we will find out at some point soon. And that now wraps up all we have for update 31.0.2 in LOTRO. Overall, again, this is a pretty minor patch, but an exciting thing is the instance Den of Pughlak is coming back, and we can run that again to have another 3-man instance option. And for people who bought the Ultimate Edition, you get some of the rewards again, and of course the PvMP balance changes. Those are the major things coming with this update, and definitely some things to look forward to. And with that, as far as this video goes, I hope y'all enjoyed it and learned something useful, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing for more, or becoming a channel member to support the content, and thanks for watching, everyone.